Oh boy, he's got a good team behind him there. He's got Al Smith there, he's got Jimmy Tibbs, he's got Harry Andrews. There's 3 good trainers there.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing. That's a fairly heavyweight corner, as is Sakyi's in a different kind of a way.
Yeah.
Del Granger. Frank Grooves in there too. So as I said, this is a big opportunity for Sakyi. It is a big step up though, because he's only had the 7 fights. The wins have come against opponents really he was supposed to beat. The 2 defeats have come against Jamie Carley, who was 3-1, Danny Wright, who was 8-0. The defeat against Wright on the Selby Warrington undercard at Ellen Road on May the 19th. So that was a big occasion. There weren't too many in by the time that fight was on, but you're still fighting in the open air. You're still aware of the...
I could just see Ozgul putting his pressure on. I don't know, he's just non-stop in here. I don't think, no disrespect to Mikey's hit, I don't know if he can handle it.
Well, Ozgul's looking to start pretty quickly here. Trying to bomb with a big overhand right. Latest notices from the British Boxing Board of Control at super lightweight. We're going to see Glenn Foote against Robbie Davis for the British title. That will be on the show in Newcastle in October. And that should be an interesting fight. After Jack Catterall vacated that belt a little while ago now. Just missing with the right hand there, Ozgul.
Yeah, I think Ozgul's rushing his work a bit here. I think that's sort of in with his style. He's forward. He's not never going to be a boxer. He's always just relentless, non-stop pressure. Thing is, you know he's going to be fit under Harry Andrews.
Just looking to try and lean on Sakyi, pin him back to the ropes and see if he can find an uppercut up the middle. Didn't quite work. Sakyi's got a decent height and reach advantage here. If he can try and use it, he needs to try and use it. If he can shoot that jab out. Ozgul does tend to stoop over a little bit too in that boxing stance.
Sakyi's been a little bit too lazy. He's waiting too long. If he wants to win this fight, he's got to start letting his hands go.
Ozgul looking for that right hand again, didn't quite land it clean. He's maybe rushed things at times in this opening round. But as you say, he does have that kind of all-action, frenetic sort of style about him.
Good right hand landed there by Mikey. That's a Zorro round, I think.
These early rounds are going to be interesting though, aren't they? Because Ozgul's the more experienced of the two. He's the one who's supposed to win this fight. He's the champion. And Sakyi won't want to give them away, but at the same time, there's going to be a settling in period here if he's going to compete in this fight.
Yeah, listen, he's got a good trainer in his call. Like we saw, he's got Del Granger. He's got, I know Frankie Grooves is doing the water, but he'll be throwing things in now. He's got a good corner. Hopefully they'll drill it into him. Go out and tell him what he's got to do, and he picks it up a bit.
Ozgul just trying to put the pressure on at close quarters. Maybe just close down his own space a little bit too much in that opening 3 minutes, but it's around in the bag for him anyway.
For Mikey there, he's come out there blazing. So it's a whoople now.
Ozgul with a step to the right hand side, trying to target the body. Decent looking right hand there from Sakyi. He definitely wants to engage more in the second round than he did in the first. Maybe just needed that 3 minutes just to settle in a bit, just to acclimatise. Left hand ripping in again there from Ozgul. And for the first time really in a round, Sakyi just able to get off the rope slightly. Ozgul just pushes him back immediately, and Sakyi happy just to retreat to those ropes. Is that a good idea, do you think, or not?
No, he wants to get off him, really. I think his solo ball's fit, you know what I mean? He can keep Mikey Sakyi there. I know a lot of his shots are missing their gloves, their elbows, but he still takes a bit out of you know what I mean? I like to see Sakyi, he's a taller fighter, try and keep him at length a little bit.
It is the obvious advantage that he's got, but we haven't really seen him pop a jab out, snap a jab out. He looks to get on your shoulder, Ozgul. That's what he wants to do. Just little steps away to the left, to the right, to try and change up the angle, to try and switch things up a little bit. Always looking to try and move that head on the way in. Just found a little bit of distance there, Sakyi. Bit of an opportunity to free his hands up, but a left hand got through there from Ozgul.
A moment to go there, pull back yourself up into the corner there.
Ozgul again just leaning on. That's a better looking jab there from Sakyi.
These southern area fights always like the best sort of fights. They always seem to make the thrill, don't they?
I've seen some great ones here at York Hall. You had a great one yourself elsewhere, but back at the start of March, and it just so often throws up that kind of drama because you've got two fighters who so desperately want to win, because for some people it might be their world title fight. They're not likely to rise any higher, or it's maybe the first rung on the ladder, and it just means a lot because it's the first recognised British boxing border control title that you can win, and once you've won it...
You're 100% correct there, Adam. When I first went pro, I thought I'd aim for a southern area title, and it took so long. I had 17 fights, and I got my shot against unbeaten Tony Milchier on Mickey Elliott's show, and I grabbed it. I know I was in the away corner, but I managed to get him out there in the 5th round and become Southern Area champion. For me, that felt like my world title myself, so I know these titles mean everything to fighters. So yeah, it's good to see good fights in these Southern Areas.
Well, once you win this kind of officially sanctioned title, it sounds like a stupid thing to say, but you've never not won it. You will never not be a Southern Area champion. It's in the books forever.
Yeah, it's like you sort of left a little bit of legacy. I know it's not a world title or a British title, but a Southern Area title back in the day, that was a big title. It still is now. It means something, you know what I mean? So it's good to win it and move on to other belts.
So into the third round, Siar Ozgul in the red and black is in control of this one. He's won the opening couple of rounds, but Sakyi in the grey and white was a bit more ambitious in that third round than he was in the first. But Ozgul again just straight on him, just trying to push him back into that neutral corner. Trying to find some room for those little uppercuts and hooks and digs to the body on the inside.
What I'm missing now from Sakyi. There's how much fitness is Mikey going to have, you know what I mean? He took this fight at short notice, he's in with a tough fighter, you know what I mean? He's going to be fit and strong, coming for 10 rounds, so in these later rounds I think it's going to get a little bit tougher for Sakyi.
He's a full-time pro as far as I'm aware, Ozgul. He's got some good backing, some good people behind him. Looking to try and dig to the body with that left hand, and Sakyi is taking these okay so far.
Yeah, landed a nice uppercut inside there.
And every now and again Sakyi just manages to land one of his own on the inside up close there as well. He just pushes Ozgul off, gets a little bit more room to use those longer levers. It's not always the case that taller fighters, well, it's often not the case that taller fighters are ineffective on the inside, but they do just need that little bit more space. If they can get it and then dig their toes in and get some leverage, then they can have success. That was a good left hand there from Sakyi.
Another good shot there from Mikey, Sakyi. He's had some good shots in this round so far, Adam. Mikey. The thing is, he's not a power puncher, so I think he's got to use his brain a little bit. You know, I don't think he's going to get so up or ever out of there. So I think he needs to just box the move and start getting tied in.
Well, Ozgul just being warned about hitting around the back of the head there. Jeff Hines making it absolutely clear that he won't be having any more of that. There's just a bit of marking up around the left cheekbone there of Ozgul as well. He's got his back to us at the minute, but we'll see it again when he turns around. And Sakyi's having a better round here. Ozgul returning fire though, and this is warming up nicely into the kind of fight that we were just talking about, the kind of fight you so often see for these area titles. Looking for the big overhand right there, Sakyi, then looking to the body as well.
Then good few shots there, Mikey, Sakyi.
And the corner just trying to beckon him forward. Ozgul again just leaning on the shoulder and looking to try and bomb him with those hooks to the body, to the head. But he hasn't really hurt Sakyi at any point. He hasn't really caught him particularly clean, and maybe that has caused Sakyi to grow in confidence, that he doesn't feel that the man in front of him has really got the power to particularly trouble him. And that's not the easiest round in the world to score. Which way would you go with that one?
I don't know, to be honest, I would like to say, because Sakyi had a good round himself there. I don't want to say it, but football there sort of slowed down towards the end of that round. It looked like he was breathing a little bit heavier, so you never know really. Like, Sakyi's coming on strong now. Well, stronger than what he was the first couple of rounds.
Ozgul pocketed the first couple of rounds. I don't think there'd be any doubt about that. What that third round with me, what I'm trying to figure out before I note my score down, is whether he definitely had his best round of the fight there, Sakyi, but was it good enough to actually win the round? It's a difficult thing to...
Thing is, some of these referees, they go on aggression, and instead of the shots. Like if you're a boxer on their back foot, you might be picking those shots, but these referees don't really like it. These referees like fighters like Ozgul come forward, which obviously some people don't agree with, some people do. But
left hand maybe a little bit low there from Ozgul, but there was no complaint from Sakyi. He's looking to get on the jab a bit more now, the taller man, if he can. And then just turning over the left hand. That was a decent looking shot. And his confidence has definitely been raised here, Sakyi, no doubt about that. Nice right hand there though from Ozgul.
I think he's listening to his coach, Del Granger there. Come out, started firing. Yeah, on the waistline there, then body shots.
No, borderline. Jeff Hines had a very, very good look at them. Sakyi just trying to slash down, chop down with that right hand. Just to touch on that debate you mentioned there between rounds, and you're right, it's one that rages in boxing all the time. The man on the front foot making the fight, bringing the heat. Do you prefer that or the cleaner puncher? I prefer the cleaner puncher, but...
Yeah, 100% correct with you there, Adam. Like my last fight, myself, I lost by a point, and I boxed the fella's head off, but he was a forward fighter, so it went against me by a point, but depends who's scoring it, really, you know what I mean? Personally, I think the one who lands some more shots, the cleaner boxer will be the better one, but some people like the aggression.
Sakyi just not quite bent double, but dipping quite low at the waist there. The referee comes in and separates the two of them.
So it's not to be a good fight, this one.
It is. It's the work rate of Ozgul, though, which is kind of inescapable when you're watching this.
Start carrying his body shots a little bit high. There's another one there, just gone a little bit low.
Looking for the left hand there, Ozgul, just as Sakyi stuck out his own jab. Looked to try and reply with the left, but the right glove was up there for Sakyi, so it wasn't a problem for him.
It was a hot night here in Ozgul. A lot of shots getting thrown in this fight. It's a 10-round fight.
And that's a good point. It's going to just make those tanks empty a little bit quicker. It can make a punch resistance of a fighter go a little bit sooner too.
I've boxed him myself in the summer. I know what it's like. It's hot, and then when you get in them later rounds, it gets even harder.
And just some action from that previous round. As these two fighters just suck it up. Every minute, every second rather, respite they can get between rounds. And he's doing all right here, Mikey Sakyi.
Yeah, he's got Del Grange in there, giving him some wise words.
I still feel the fight's going Ozgul's way. On my card it is anyway. For me, Sakyi hasn't quite done enough yet to take any of these 4 rounds, but they have certainly been competitive, particularly rounds 3 and 4.
I agree with you there, Adam. Ozgul's he's strong, he's won the rounds. Mikey Sakyi's got a little bit better through the rounds, but just not quite doing enough.
So a bit of tape, I think, just coming free from the... Oh, it's the lace, actually, isn't quite taped down, or some kind of running repair that needs sorting out there. Can't have anything flapping around on the side of a glove. Gets in a fighter's eye, can cause real problems. Found good distance with the 1-2 there, Sakyi, and that's exactly what he needs to do, actually. As Ozgul was coming forward, he had the perfect range there, really for the first time, and again they're complaining about a punch around the back of the head there from Ozgul, I think with some justification.
Sakyi needs to turn him off these roads. Hold him, turn him.
Just trying to tee up that right hand there, Ozgul, clubbing right hand. Aim for the side of the head there of Sakyi, but again just didn't quite land it clean. He just needs to do a bit more here, Sakyi. It's slipping away from him. There are glimpses from him. It shows signs that he could really have an impact.
I was just about to say the same thing, Adam. He's not throwing many shots. He needs to let his hands go a bit more.
Just inching forward that front foot there, Sakyi. Good combination on the inside, but Ozgul takes it and keeps coming forward. There's some good boxing there from Mikey Sakyi, though.
A nice counter there. Cut there on the inside by Mikey Sakyi.
Ozgul, though, just takes half a step back and lets his hands go. Those wide hooks, Sakyi trying to find the shorter, straighter shots as the bell goes halfway through this one, scheduled for 10, and it's a good competitive fight, but as we've been saying, I still just feel that the rounds are slipping away from Mikey Sakyi here. He's giving a decent account of himself, but
he's just not doing enough, Adam. He just needs to push this fight a little bit more. If he wants it, it's a great opportunity for him, you know what I mean? Just not throwing enough. Andy.
Don't worry about it. I just had to. You're not the first person, and you will not be the last to confuse me with my Sky colleague. So please do not worry about that. But halfway through this fight, then it's just the way it's going, isn't it? Siar Ozgul he's got the greater work rate, he's got the greater volume. Not all of it's getting through clean all of the time.
No, but do you know what? He's got such a sustained work rate. Obviously, he's with Harry Andrews, he's got Errol Smith there, he's with top coaches. They ain't going to let him go into no fight unfit, and I've seen him in the gym before. He trains hard, he works hard. I'll guarantee he'll do these 10 rounds and he'll be fit. With Mikey Sakyi, he's coming short notice.
Ozgul starting out very aggressively at the start of round 6, and you just never know what a fighter senses in there sometimes when you're sitting outside of the rope, sometimes when you're up close to their personal. You just get the feeling here that Ozgul thinks that Sakyi's about to go.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there, I think he does. But Sakyi had a little grin inside there, you smile at him, calling him on. Good little right hand there from Mikey. Low body shot there again from Ozgul. Nice little right cut on the side. Some good shots there from both fighters.
Some good boxing on the inside there, really good inside fighting. Sakyi finding some accurate blows. Ozgul again though just is leaning in and just mauling him. Nice left hand there from Sakyi. I'm liking what I'm seeing a lot of the time from him.
It's just little spells, Andy, you know what I mean? Like 1 minute he'll throw a good combination and then he backs off for 30 seconds and let Ozgul does his work. He should be moving on that jab and moving around the ring. I don't know how much he wants it. But you can tell how much Ozgul wants it.
There's no mistaking that. But he definitely does have ability, Sakyi. We can see that.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing there. When he boxes, he's landed some good shots tonight, uppercuts on the inside. I think he's just got to get a little bit busier if he wants this fight. The time's ticking.
A bit of blood coming from somewhere. I think from the end of the nose of Sakyi maybe. And there it is, yeah. So that's taken a solid blow. I'm not sure if that means that it's gone, isn't it?
Exactly in this sort of heat, and when you're getting in them later rounds, if you can't breathe out your nose, that's going to take a big toll on this fight.
Well, there are multiple effects of it apart from the pain of it and the discomfort of it. The blood hits the back of your throat, it can upset the stomach, swallowing it as well, all sorts of things you don't really think about with the breathing, of course. Ozgul just trying to club him around. Some good solid shots there from Ozgul. Sakyi just trying to keep his head on the move. And doing a reasonable job of defending there, actually.
Yeah, you can see blood there, Ozgul.
Well, there's plenty of it on our table. Thankfully, it's managed to miss me because quite a few shirts have bitten the dust. Blood from ringside. It's really hard to get out of.
Well, they'll be paying for the dry cleaning bill.
So bell goes at the end of the round, and Ozgul again with a good, solid round there. He put plenty into that, though, as we said at the start of it. It did look like he sensed that Sakyi was maybe beginning to wilt a bit, and really went out there to make a statement. And by the look of it, he's certainly made an impression on the nose of Mikey Sakyi.
Yep, 4 rounds to go. Still going Ozgul's way at the minute.
So 4 to go, and Ozgul in a significant lead here. And that Sakyi corner quite quiet. So into the 7th round. Sakyi with a neat uppercut on the inside again there. And as we've been saying all the way through, he's had little spells, he's had little bursts of good quality work, but he's just not been able to sustain it. Ozgul has been right on him, and he just throws punches and punches and punches, and it's difficult to keep him off. There's not a great deal of finesse behind Ozgul's work, and generally it's a kind of style that will only take you so far, but it's going to take a good fighter with some good snap on his punches to keep him off.
Yeah, I agree with you, Adam. I like, obviously, it's hard for Ozgul at the minute, getting fights. He's obviously struggled in these southern areas, like getting a challenge off this belt. Obviously, I'd like to see him move up after this and fight some better fighters. He's definitely got an engine in him.
Well, the English super lightweight champion is Samo Maison, and has eliminated been ordered by the ball between K. Prosper and Cassius Conner. Eliminators recently particularly have had a habit of falling out of bed with fighters not choosing to accept them.
I think that's a good fight, Conner and Prosper, but obviously everyone knows Danny Conner, he's not scared to fight no one, so it's a step up for K. Prosper.
Ozgul just looking for that left hand, just didn't quite land it that time.
Little spell there from Mikey, Sakyi.
Applause from the corner there as Sakyi just set his feet and ripped that right hand to the body. Sakyi corner just trying to tell him that they feel Ozgul is tiring, which may be the case, but he's still plenty busy enough.
He might be having a little round off. You know, personally, I've been watching the fight, and at this moment in time, I'd say Sakyi needs to win every round and put him down a few times to take this fight now. I think he's just took his pedal off from the start, and I think Ozgul's just been non-stop.
Sakyi just trying to get some air in there in between rounds. It is hot in here, particularly on these summer nights, but all year round really. They can't turn the heating off in York Hall. I think is part of the problem with the pipes and there being a council building and a leisure centre next door. I don't think there's too much they can do about it. So on days like this, the heat goes through the roof really, but it's not affecting Siar Ozgul too much. So 3 rounds to go, they're scheduled for 10. Southern Area Super Lightweight title on the line. And again, Ozgul just comes out quickly, rapidly at the start of the round. Sakyi forced to just try and tuck up and find shots where he can. Good left hand there though from Sakyi.
He's had some spells in his fight, and he's through here and there of combinations, but he just dies off. He was to follow a bit right inside there, got Mikey Sakyi. Counter straight back by Ozgul.
Good head movement there from Ozgul, just rolled under a couple of punches. Just trading shots on the inside. Nice left. Just found the target there from Sakyi right above us.
If I was Sakyi stuck in that corner, I'd be grabbing him, turning him. I won't be taking shots in that corner. Don't get me wrong, Sakyi's done a couple of nice little uppercuts while he's been in there, but that ain't the place where you want to be. There we go, nice little turn there from Sakyi.
Well, he's just allowed Ozgul to dictate terms too much. Ozgul's definitely caught a few shots though, you can see by his face that he's marked up in places. Nothing too major, but caught by left hand again there, and Sakyi just trying to follow it up, chopping down with the right, couldn't quite find the target, but a tape just trailing from the right wrist and the left wrist here of Sakyi, so I'd have thought it wouldn't be too long before Jeff Hines stops the fight and gets that sorted out. Closing 30 seconds of round 8, and Ozgul again just busying up those hands, as he has done all the way through. So 8 in the books here, a couple more to go. And Siar Ozgul on course to retain the Southern Area title here. Sakyi needs something big in these final 2 rounds. He needs a stoppage.
Yeah, I think he's looked good in spells here and there, but Ozgul's just been too much for him every round. He's just got far too much pressure.
Well, it's one of those fights really where the way that boxing is scored will probably, or may anyway, return a harsh scoreline. It is on my card so far, because although Sakyi is definitely competitive and he's having some good spells and he's shown some good skills and he really can box, he's losing these rounds.
Yeah, he's just not doing enough. I know he's sort of fighting on short notice, but he just needs to press up more and just throw more shots. He's laid on the ropes quite a lot. He should be turning Ozgul. Oh, a good shot there.
Lovely right hand on the inside there from Sakyi, though. That really caught Ozgul as he was coming forward. It was a really good quality punch, and he does have that in his armoury, Sakyi, and he's now trying to get to work on Ozgul a little bit, but having said that, Ozgul took it well. And just looking out of the ring there, Siar Ozgul. Brought plenty of support tonight. Right hand there from Ozgul. Again, he just looks to plant that head on the chest and work with those hooks.
I know before this fight they tried for Jamie Carley to challenge Siar Ozgul, but I think the board rejected him. But Jamie Carley, not recently, but not far away, he beat Mikey Sakyi, so I'm surprised the board had turned that down, to be honest with you, but Mikey Sakyi's chance today.
Ozgul again just tries to spring up from that crouch and land the left hand. Bit of blood in the mouth there of Sakyi as well. Tape being repaired on the wrist of Ozgul's left hand there by Harry Andrews. And Ozgul again just swinging on the inside. Sakyi trying to find a little touch of space for him there, just rolling on the ropes. Some decent defensive work. He manages to turn Ozgul that time and get himself out of trouble, and left hand almost lands there from Sakyi, who just holds his feet and lets his hands go a bit here, and that's good range he has there too.
It's good head movement there from Siar, Ozgul.
Sakyi having a nice spell here.
Yep.
Into the final minute of round 9. Well, they're both feeling the pace now, aren't they? We can see Ozgul, he's just on the shoulder there of Sakyi, and he's taking opportunity here to take a bit of a breather. Nice left to the body there from Ozgul. Sakyi with the right hand on the inside, then doubles up with another right. Some of those looks a little bit low from Ozgul. He's flirted with that on occasion. Sakyi looking for a big overhand right, both of them looking for big shots, neither of them landing. Good round, really interesting round.
Last round on scorecards coming up.
Well, they both put a lot into this. Enormous amount of effort for both of these two.
Yeah, it's been a good pace fight.
Ozgul just that ever-present threat, just right in front of his man, constantly throwing, but as we've been saying all the way through, Sakyi has showed bursts of quality.
I think he's got a good, his style with Harry Andrews. Ozgul's got his own style that's come forward on fire. I think Harry Andrews, I think something different than if Harry Andrews can teach him to box with that sort of style, with a good pace, I think it could be a deadly combination.
Ozgul again just quickly into his work at the start of the 10th round, as he was at the start of the first. Signs in that previous round that he was tiring, certainly, but he's going for it in this final round. (14-0) before tonight. Siar Ozgul 5-2. Mikey Sakyi. But there are times, plenty of them, where your stock can rise even in defeat, and I think that could well be the case here tonight for Sakyi. Stepped up a level and he's shown that he can definitely compete at this level.
He's certainly done a credit to himself tonight. Firstly, before the fight started, I didn't think Mikey Sakyi would go to 10 rounds, but he took the fight at short notice. He's had a couple of hard fights early on in his career, but he's done better than what I thought he would.
He's still just trying to fire off punches off the ropes. Ozgul just has a good look at us down here on commentary, midway through the 10th and final round, and he's been nailed there, Ozgul, and he's in big trouble. I think it was a left hand that landed, and now Sakyi has to pour this on. This is his chance. He could get this done here. He could get it finished. Jeff Hines just about to jump in any second there. He looked like he was going to stop it. One more clean blow, and Jeff Hines will stop this. What drama here in the 10th and final round, and Sakyi just needs to get a bit of distance, a bit of a chance to swing, and in comes Jeff Hines and waves his fight over. Mikey Sakyi has turned it around in the 10th and final round. Unbelievable drama at York Hall. Over on the far side of the ring, it was a left hand, I think, which started it all off. We didn't get a great view of it, but you could see that Ozgul immediately was hurt. And at that point, there was a long way left to go in the round, and Sakyi just had to exploit that, but he couldn't be too reckless, could he, Matt? That was the key. He had to be accurate and he had to go about his work in calculated yet vicious fashion, and that's exactly what he did. There was a left hook that started it, and then he applied the finish, and Jeff Hines gave Siar Ozgul every single chance there, but he needed a stoppage and he got it.
Absolute credit to Mikey Sakyi. We've got our scorecard here. I haven't given Mikey Sakyi one round in this contest, and to pull that out in the last round, obviously Ozgul's put a little bit too much in his rounds. He's come out blazing every round. Just needed to save a little bit for that last round, I think, and obviously fair play to Mikey Sakyi. He's gone on to that and he's now stopped Ozgul.
Well, that was absolutely extraordinary, and it's the kind of finish that you get sometimes in boxing, and it never fails to take your breath away, because Siar Ozgul was in charge of that fight. He was winning that fight. I don't know how Jeff Hines, referee, was scoring it, but he was winning that fight. And then that left hand that he landed, and he had landed quality shots throughout the fight. He showed his ability. We've been saying that all the way through, but he's just being out-hustled by Ozgul, and as soon as he landed that left, the way he finished it was impressive, Matt, too, because it would have been easy to panic, to rush it, to smother your own work, to do all sorts of things. But he landed enough clean shots, and in the end he gave Jeff Hines no option but to jump in and stop it.
He gave him enough time. Do you know what I mean? Personally, this is inexperience from Ozgul. He should have took the knee. If he would have took the knee, he would have had 10 seconds to recover. Great left hook there. He could have recovered in that 10 seconds. A 10-9, 10-8 round, even a 10-7 round. He could have still won that fight, but obviously that's an experience. That'll come in time. But fair play to Mikey Sakyi.
And he's just clipping him regularly. A couple of times I thought Jeff Hines was just about to jump in and stop it just there, and then eventually he did come in, and Mikey Sakyi, the celebrations are there from the corner as well. I
can feel his heartbeat from me. I know what he's feeling. I've been there myself, and he must be over the moon.
Well, boxing rings at this stage they are such a bleak contrast, aren't they? In one, you've got the jubilation of the win. In the other, you've got the absolute desolation of the defeat. It reminds me a bit of a fight I commentated on a while ago, Frank Buglioni against Hosea Burton. Hosea Burton was in a handy lead, good lead going into the final round, and Buglioni took it away from him right at the end.
Yeah, I remember that fight.
And that was for a British title, this was for a Southern Area title. And you said that these fights deliver, and this one right at the death absolutely did. They're just checking Siar Ozgul out in that far corner, the medics, just to make sure that he's okay. Have to be extra careful on a night like this where dehydration will be a particular issue.
Obviously he's got a good team behind him. They're bringing back on there, get back to winning ways, but I think he just needs to slow down a bit. Like he's been so guns blazing the whole way through the fight, and obviously now it's the 10th round. That's been his downfall. But listen, you can't take that away from both fighters. Ozgul was winning the fight, and he's been unlucky to get clipped by that. But like, fair play to Mikey.
Well, as we mentioned, these area titles mean an awful lot, and Mikey Sakyi now is Southern Area champion, and forevermore shall he be. However long he hangs on to that belt, that will be something that he will always be able to say, and he will never forget tonight. He will never forget how he's won this. He will want this to be the start of bigger things, but what a way to win a title.
He must be booming at the minute. He won't sleep for days.
That left hand that started it all, and then he managed to follow it up, and as we've been saying throughout the course of the fight, he was obviously, he had skills. He was landing some good clean shots. He never really hurt Ozgul. That was the first time that either fighter had really hurt.
Yeah, you know yourself, Andy, when you start getting into them later stages in these championship fights, they've both put a lot into this fight, but Mikey Sakyi obviously so sank to the end. He's got a good trainer in there. He's got Del Granger and that in there. He's obviously listened. He's come out. Can't say he ain't executed because he stopped him in the 10th round. So yeah, fair play to him and his team. Well done.
And Siar Ozgul getting to his feet, and a big round of applause from the Short Call crowd for that. They've seen some drama here down the years. They've seen some big name fighters here down the years as well, but you'd have to go a long way back to find a more dramatic finish to a fight than that.
It just come out of nowhere. No way did I see Mikey Sakyi winning this fight, especially by that. So it is a shock, you know what I mean? But anything can happen in boxing, Andy, you know that.
Well, that fight makes that point perfectly, really. Well, congratulations, Mikey. Sakyi, drink it in.
Humble in defeat here. Star Wars goal.
A good sportsmanship between the corners.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
And Sophia just moving into position to get a chat with the new champion.
Mikey, wow, what a war that was, and the new, how amazing does that feel?
It was brilliant, we knew it was going to be a hard fight, and I just had to dig deep, and in the end I pulled it off.
You took it at late notice as well,
yes.
And you really put the defending champion through his paces.
We train all year round, we're fit for 12 rounds, so any fights come up, we're ready to go, we'll fight anybody.
Title level now, huh?
Yeah, strap me up, baby!
Listen, congratulations, well done, enjoy the win, okay? Back to you, Andy.
Well, a jubilant Mikey Sakyi, and every reason that he should be. What a stunning